Hey everybody, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thanks for clicking in. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. It's been a bit since I've filmed. I've been meaning to. I've had like all the stuff for this video sitting next to my desk for several weeks now, but haven't gotten to it with school and everything. But here we are. And I remembered to plug in my microphone. So that's good. I do apologize if I have to keep clearing my throat. It is cold here in California. Well, cold for Californians anyway. And I'm very drippy and I keep having to clear my throat. So I apologize for that. Hopefully I won't have to do it too much. So as you can see, we're going to do some stuff with Dollar Tree photo albums. These are Dollar Tree photo albums. They're $1.25. They fit 4x6. I mean, you can see it's pretty self-explanatory. But we're going to do some fun things with this. I like these. These are like totally customizable. I mean, you can do so many things with these. So many things. So let's get to some of the things, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn it into this. It's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a scrapbook kind of thing. This one, you may notice, is Just Married. I did a wedding theme one because I had some wedding theme paper and I figured, why not? And I decorated it with some stuff. This rose sticker came from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they still have them because it was a Valentine's thing, but they're absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how well they show up on camera, but it's got like this kind of iridescent kind of like sheen along the petals. And then the lace, which is inside the pocket here. Also came from Hobby Lobby. It was like, apparently it was a little remnant of what someone had cut, and it was in the clearance section. So anyway, and I made this using pretty much things I already had in my stash, with the exception of having bought those. Everything else was in my stash that I had bought prior, a long time prior. And I just put the paper in it. And just fill them in, and you can almost kind of like a little mini scrapbook. I did leave some pages blank, figuring that full photographs can go in here, and then each one just has a different, thing, like blank, and then another thing, and then blank, and then here I messed up with the paper when I was cutting it, but I ended up turning this into a little pocket, and then this is tags that came with the paper pack. This paper pack is the Stamperia wedding paper pack, and apparently it's no longer available. I'm quite bummed. I attached some scrap that had lines on it to the back of this, and they just tuck in right here. I don't know what you'd put on there, but use your imagination. You could probably put little notes on there, things like that. Who knows? And then blank, and we have another one. And then I did ink it with Distress ink. In, what is it? I think it's Tattered Rose. Not quite sure I like how that color turned out, but it's something at least. And then here's another one. Again, I messed up on the paper, so I made a pocket. This one's a little bigger than the one. A couple more tags. And, blank. I'm just going to skip. You know that there's a blank one in between each one now. So here, here, here. And all of this is paper from my stash. Some of it's that wedding paper. Some of it's just paper I randomly had. Here's another one here. Oh, that's supposed to be another pocket. I guess I forgot there was another one in here, and I haven't put that in. So, but I will. And then here. And then that's it. Here you have a couple extra spaces, for extra photographs. And that's that. For the pockets, I just use double-sided sticky tape on them to attach them on the outside of the plastic, with one piece, the other piece inside the plastic. I have seen people do this on YouTube where they just cover the plastic with the paper on top of it and just glue it on. But I like the paper being on the inside of it. So that's what I did with this. So now we're going to make another one so I can kind of show you what you can do with it. And then we're going to go into another project having to do with these photo albums. So here I have some scrapbooking paper that is going to eventually go inside here. There's just some bits and bobs. Let's put the bits and bobs aside. This is going to be part of the, I think it's going to be part of the cover we're going to do here. Something like this maybe. You could do it without. This says a perfect day in every way. again, these are from my stash that I've had for a while. So I put some in here already in some areas where I was going to stick a little doodad. I don't actually know if it's going to go there. So here's another set. And again, this is, these are 4.5 by 6. So you can do just 4 by 6 if you want it a little bit looser, but I like the 4.5 because it just gives it a nice, for me, a nice tight fit in there. And I think they look really nice. And like I said, I've seen people do this before. I don't like to put that choose happy. Let's put that aside for right now. Let's see, I was going to put the hello. I haven't attached it, but see, that looks pretty good there, right? And then another pink one, which almost looks like these are not exactly the same size. What did we do there? What did we do there? Is this one too big? Might be too big. Here I like... No, actually, it's not 4.5, so why does it not want to fit? Sometimes they don't want to fit. The plastic gets in the way. It's very strange. This one doesn't want to fit. Yeah, it's a little bit too snug. How does this one fit? I was pretty sure it was 4.5 by... Okay, so that one fits better in there. So this one's not quite there. We'll fix this when we get the paper cutter out and do some paper cutting. Well, let's keep that in there. Hopefully I didn't make that mistake anywhere else. I might have meant to adjust that and forgot. This pack was an old Recollections pack, I think called Pink Parasol, that I've used quite a bit out of it, but as you can see, there are some more. This is not from that, it's from another, I think it was a Recollections fall pack. This one came from Pink Parasol. So, you see, they just slide right in, and I think they make everything just really pretty. And again, you can do it however you want to do it. If you want to glue the paper on top, by all means, glue the paper on top. Okay, I think I have some more back here. I was trying to not have the pages, you know, like the same ones in a row too many times. And I would say when you're working with these photo albums, don't get angry with them and try to force it, because you will inevitably, you can rip them. They're not, I mean, they're from Dollar Tree. We're going to put that aside. We'll do the cover later. So, and I was pretty sure, I'll borrow this for a second. Yes, this is one of the pockets ripped out, and you'll see in a minute what we do with those. Let's see if I did it this way. It's 4.5. So 4.5 is a little bit too big. It's like a little bit less than 4.5. And then this one is definitely 6 though. Okay, I am so not good with the measuring, you guys. I try to be, but I often just kind of wing it, trial and error kind of thing. So let's see. 6. And then we said it was, what did we say it was? A little, 4.5, not quite 4.5, or a little bit less than 4.5. Yeah, it's like 2 in from the 4.5 mark. I know that probably doesn't really help you much when I say 2 in from the 4.5 mark, but here's 4.5. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to do it again. Here's 4.5. And then, hopefully, now let me go ahead and adjust this while I'm here. Yeah, perfect. So let's put these aside. Now I'm going to do it again, because we can have a couple different pages with this paper. And if you want to do every single one, a different one, you do you. But I have all this paper, and I would like to use it. I'm going to have this one we're going to do, again, we're going to go to 6. And then we're going to go to 4. And we're going to do, we're going to get to the 4.5, and then we're going to slide it over 2 lines. If somebody knows what that measurement actually is and you want to put it in the comments, please feel free. And if you want to tell me that I'm a dumb crafter, go for it. I'm okay with that. I am at peace with the fact that I can't measure things to save my soul. Okay. So again, 2 in. And of course, you know, we're not going to throw away any scraps because we don't do that. Okay, and we are now done cutting. So let's put that away. And bring our book back over. And so these packs have their 48 pages, or they're 24 pages. Front and back means 48 slots to put photos in. You may have seen me use these before, because I have used them in the past. I have done a video with them in the past where I did this. This is a little prayer journal photo album book using the prayer cards from Dollar Tree. I don't have anything in the front page. I have a bunch of these I made. I don't have anything in the front page yet. This is a cross. You guys see that? This is a cross and it has a pin holder. How awesome is that? I got that off Amazon. I'll try to figure out how to link those for you guys. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'm sure I can. But I put a prayer card in and then an index card. So you can take this out and write notes or, you know, journal or whatever. And it's just each page has one like that until you get to the end here. And then you have this extra one in the back. The thing is, like I said, this is 48 pages. So that's 24 pages with 48 slots. The prayer cards come 22 a pack. And as you can see, I use one in the front. That leaves me 19 more to go in the book with another 19 of the index cards. So I end up having to remove 4 pages, and I pull them out from the middle, and that's why I end up with all those page slips like you saw, these. And I'm going to show you what to do with these, what you can do with these a little bit later. So don't throw these away. You can use them. And I'll link that video to the end of this video so you can see how I did that. Well, I'm going to try to pull out this. So we can get rid of this orange thing. You don't need. You can keep these if you want them. I don't really care for orange, so we're not going to keep that. Like I said, so this one we've already taken care of on the inside. I didn't actually think about what I was putting on the back of that. Okay, so for the cover, this is what's going in the back of that. Just kidding. You don't really have to do much taping or gluing because they slide into the pockets rather nicely. And the front ones have a different measurement. They're a little bit bigger. They are something like, they're almost 5 inches by a little more than 6 inches. So again, I tend to eyeball my measurements because that's just how Carrie does what Carrie does. Okay, so I'm going to slide this back in here. And again, like I said, be careful with it. Don't force it. Don't get angry with it. I've had times where I've wanted to get one in there or get one out, and I've gotten angry, and I've ended up ripping it, and we don't want to do that. So take your time with it. So I can already hear it making cracking sounds, and I don't like that. I would recommend doing the cover before inserting stuff into the pages. Okay, I think we did okay. I think we're okay. All right. And now we have the back cover. And now we'll go do the front cover. And the front cover, we are going to decorate with this thing. And I was thinking that I would put this vellum here underneath it. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that's pretty. It's really pretty, in fact. But it kind of hides this back page. Maybe we'll use this in another way in there and just do this. Plus, there was something I kind of wanted to do, and I'll show you in a minute something that I've done in the past with just the pages that I've torn out. Is I've turned them into what looks like, not what it looks like. It definitely is shaker cards. Little shaker cards. So let me put some tape on here. And we are going to finish getting this book put together. And while I'm doing that, since you watching me is pretty self-explanatory as to what I'm doing, I'm going to talk about something that's not crafting. If you saw my intro video, you know that I put that I was going to be talking about things, stuff that God puts on my heart or my mind to talk about. And if you've seen the title, then you kind of know, well, you know, not kind of, you know what I'm going to talk about, or at least you know it's going to be about singleness in your 40s. And the reason I want to talk about that is, well, I'm a single woman in her 40s, for one. And two, it's just some things that have come to my attention, you know, as I make this journey in my singleness, that I find that I don't like. And that is people in their 40s, single people in their 40s, we seem to be a forgotten group of people. And the sad thing is we're a forgotten group of people in the church. Now, if your church is one of those churches that happens to have a singles group for all ages or whatever, that's great. That's wonderfully great. Look at that. See, that's so pretty. I mean, look, much better. You know, and we use up a lot of our stock when we do this. But anyway, as I was saying, if your church has a singles group, that's fantastic. That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. And I'm glad to hear that. But not every church has that. I'm Catholic. And a couple years ago, I was looking for a singles group in a Catholic church, you know, and I was fine if it was not in my parish. I have accidentally ripped this one, you guys. There you go. The nice thing about this, oh, come on, is once you get the, I know this fits, once you get the paper in, you probably won't notice. You can also add like a sticker in the corner behind that. It's pretty somewhat forgiving. Let's put that aside. But anyway, I was looking for singles groups, and most of the parishes in my area had singles groups for seniors 50 and above. And there was one that had a group for 18 to 39-year-olds, and then another group for the 50 and above. Yeah. So they just kind of skipped, not kind of, they totally skipped over people in their 40s. And that's hurtful. That's hurtful, right? Because you should be able to turn to the church as a place for comfort. There's a lot more pages in here than I thought. So we probably won't finish this entire book, but you get the general idea. Yes, some of these get flawed like this, but again, once you cover it, you don't even know. The one I did that was the wedding one, it's got a few of those lovely little flaws in it. Let's put this here. And this in here. And this in here. For some reason I thought I was going to have enough, but I don't. Well, I go find more paper. So, but you get the general idea of how fun this looks. We're going to attach this guy here. If I haven't already. I might have already and I just don't remember. I did not. Okay. So, yeah. But yeah, so they just skipped over people in their 40s. And I remember thinking that's really hurtful. It's like, it makes you wonder, has the church just kind of given up on people when they're 40 ever finding love? Like, yeah, the younger people for sure, you know, people in their 50s and over, they could have love or love again if they're, you know, they were married and they're widowed or whatever. But you 40-year-olds, well, we're sorry, we don't have a category for you. And it's hurtful. It's absolutely hurtful. And it's disgraceful that the church, there's not a lot of talk about singleness. You know, I go to Mass every Sunday. And I listen to the priest when he's doing his thing. And let's just trim that right there. And you know, he says good things. I'm not saying his homilies aren't good, but there's always talk about the married people. You know, the ones that have been married for a long time. But there's never any discussion about the single people. And it makes us feel like we're there, but we're really not important. And I kind of feel like it's something that needs to change. It needs to change. So, yeah, that bothers me. And I think it would bother any Christian woman. I don't know what it's like for denominations outside of the Catholic Church. If you know, let me know in the comments if that's an issue at your church, if you're in a different denomination than I am. Because I'd be curious to know. Let's see what else have we got here. Let's see. I don't know what we're doing. Just flip over. Okay. Oh yeah, that's another one I want to use. And this one might be a good one. And the rest of these we can put aside for now. We may use them eventually, but for now we're not. But it's something that I think needs to be addressed in the church. Is to having more for the single people. You know, we're a part of that church too. And, you know, for some of us who have been waiting for a long time on a kingdom spouse, it's kind of hurtful when you go to church and they're all talking about the married people and you're like, well, I guess I'm not a part of this conversation. I'm sorry, I'm going to trim this down just really quick because I do not like not having a straight edge. Okay. And I don't know if I can do the same thing with this, but probably not. That's not. Okay. And it's just something that's been bothering me for a long time. You know, I've been single for a long time. I don't know if you guys know this. Some of you might. Some of you might, because I know I've said it before, but I am 47. I turned 47 last year. This is where I was going to put Choose Happy. That could be used as a cover in another book, too. So, maybe do a little scooter here. Or should we do on the wood? I don't think we do it on the houses. So our best bet would probably be, that's maybe too much pink. Maybe we should, I just don't really want it one after another, and I didn't actually do a second of a double shot of that particular thing. We could just have it in the opening. So maybe we'll do it here. What was I saying? About singleness, and you know, it's just, all I can say is I think that needs to change. I think that we need to feel included, and I think there were singles groups in a lot of these churches probably prior to pandemic that just never came back, but they need to come back. They need to come back, because I know I'm not the only one. I'm already in a program called Your Last Year Single, which you also may have heard me talk about on here, and I can put my link for that in the description. That, you know, helps women to heal trauma and wounds in their heart and stuff so that they can become ready. They can become a wife so that a husband will find them. And I may talk more about that program at another time. We're not going to do that now. Okay. I mean, this is cute. Don't you think this is cute, you guys? Don't you guys think this is cute? It's cute. All right. Let's move. I don't want another one on there. Let's put one on this side. And it just bothers me. And you know, like I said, going and trying to find a singles group and finding a church that had a singles group for every age but 40-year-olds was rather hurtful. Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. But yeah, I've been single for a while. Now, I'm not so much suffering in my singleness anymore as I used to be, but there was a time, you know, there's a time where I think all of us kind of go through that period of time where we're suffering our singleness as opposed to, you know, enjoying it in the wait. I am now at that point where I am enjoying it in the wait, which is a nice feeling. Do I get down sometimes? You know, I'm going to use that word that everybody probably doesn't want to hear, but am I triggered when I see couples? Yeah, of course I am. Absolutely. Because I'm hungry for that. So, well, this turned out rather nice. I want to try and use this somehow or another in here, but I don't know how yet. I might use it in another thing. It was going to go behind that, but like I said, I just decided not to do that because I'm going to try and do something else there. I could put this in the back if I wanted, but maybe we'll do something else with that. Anyway, let's put this aside. So now you get the general idea of, you know, how fun it is to make these, to go through your paper stash of stuff that you are not sure you're going to use. You know, and if you have one of those people that have one of those cameras that takes the smaller pictures, and you can put kind of, you know, a couple. I mean, you could do whatever. You could make this really nice. You could put note cards in here. You could put recipes in here. But I just think that these photo albums are so versatile, and you can do so many things with them. Okay, so we're gonna put this aside. Let me grab this, and we're gonna grab this stuff. We can move on to the next thing, and I will need this. Okay. All right. So I just really wanted to share that, you know, about the church needing to do more for singles, and I mean, it's not just churches too. It seems to me that there's a lot of places. Oh, this is leaking. I could have sworn I fixed this and now it's leaking again. It's just this one too. None of my other ones are leaking, except this one keeps losing its gemstones. Ay, ay, ay. Some stuff's just not meant to go on this plastic. I sealed this with double-sided sticky tape, and the other one's held, but this one for some reason just does not want to. And there's glitter in this, so I tried to make it into a shaker. So basically, these are the prayer cards from Dollar Tree. I had a whole bunch that were loose from prior projects where I had some left over, and so I made these. They don't have note cards in the back, but you can easily put a note card in the back if you wanted to, for a place to write down notes. But it's a kind of a fun gift to give. I put a ribbon in this one. These ones have stickers. And this one has sequins in it. And then we have this one. Another one with sequins. The sequence doesn't always move. And I put gemstones on the outside of this, and the gemstones are just not. So if you're going to put gemstones on the outside of this, I would highly recommend using some glue, because these are gonna move around. Those gemstones are gonna move around. You can see here that I had 2 blue hearts and the third one stuck to the ribbon because they moved around. All right, let me see here. Okay. All right, that's what I did with these. And they're fun to make, and there's something to do with these things. And I will tell you what happens is you get a whole bunch of these. Now this one was one I took apart. I took the cover off. I may use this for something, I'm not sure yet. I put there's a name for this, and I can't think of what it is. An eyelet in here, because I wanted to see if I could. And I thought, you know, we could hook a charm on here, you know, and that might be kind of fun to do. So yeah. But I ended up with a ton of these. Oh, here's another one that I did with green glitter. And see, this is the only one. All the other ones are fine. Just this blue one seems to be the one that doesn't want to, you know. And the bag is not sealed. The front part is sealed, obviously, because glitter. But you know, I ended up with a ton of these. These trims, and you'll see that every single one of these has that. I started off with going all the way around, and then I decided it was easier just to do the ends. And I ran out of it, and I bought more. It came from Amazon, and they sent me some, and they don't look anything like the ones I got before. In fact, they look not as good. This is from the pack I got the first time, which is good. But then I got, like, new ones. This is, like, supposedly the new one, and it's not really as vibrant. I mean, I'll still use it. And in some areas, this one looks like it's pretty good. But in some of the other tapes, it looks like they didn't, the printing, the stamping to make it look, you know, lazy like that, didn't go all the way through. So some of it looks weird. And it's just, it doesn't function as nicely as these do because I was using some on something else that I did. I don't think I have it over here. But anyway, so I ended up with a ton of these things. And so I was just making these. I mean, this is another stuff I was using to put in it. If you want to put, like, in the back, you know, have flowers in the back. You can put, I have 4x6 index cards. Where are they? They're here, they're here. You can stick back here, so you can put the pretty paper down and then stick an index card in here, and you got this little, and then you flip it over and you can put in your prayer card. We'll show you that one in a minute. Put your prayer card in there. I'm sorry, I know I cut myself off with what I was saying. We'll get back to that in a minute. And you just, you just pick one. I will probably try to pick one that maybe goes better with. But see, these are from a pack. Here, how about this one? I will thank the Lord with all my heart. That's a nice one. Or we have these ones. And we have this design. I have more of these. I have tons of these, you guys. I have them in a bin under my bed. I buy, whenever I see designs I like, I buy them. Why? Because I like them. And I think they're fun to play with. They're something you can give away. So let me see. Is there another one that looks better with this? Not really. This would go better with the blue, but it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. All right, just don't listen to me. I'm too much of a perfectionist. Oh, I think I want this way. So let's flip this around. And then we will stick this in here, and we don't put anything behind it. You can if you want to. I don't. I just stick it in. Let's see. So what we're going to do, so that this fits better, is I'm going to actually take a little bit off the side of the prayer card, because I want to be able to make sure I can glue my side down. I realized I did not bring any glitter, or I have sequins. I guess we can use the sequins. I intended to have glitter over here because we were going to glitter up that other book. Maybe I'll pause this and get it. But I'd like to see how that would work on the front cover of the photo album. Wouldn't you? I do. For those of you who stick around and keep watching me, even when I lose my train of thought and everything, I appreciate the fact that you stick around and put up with me, because, yeah, this is life with ADHD. You lose your train of thought all the time. And when you're crafting, you're kind of like, you're in the crafting zone, You're in the crafting zone. Okay, so let me pause this, okay? Okay, I'm back. So I decided we're going to use some sequins here. This sequence came from Dollar Tree, by the way. And so we're just going to make sure you get it on the top of the card. Because if you get underneath, you'll have to pull everything out. I know I did this because it will not show, and you will not be able to shake it to the front. Okay, so now we have our sequins in there. And make sure we can get this over. And then we're going to take our tape. Or double-sided sticky tape. And you're going to try to stick it as far over in the page as you can, which might be the reason why I'm having so much trouble. The other one is because getting it all the way over here actually seems a little bit more difficult than... Okay. Oh. Sorry, you guys. I did not have this much trouble when I was doing it the first time. Then again, I wasn't on camera. I'm always like, I don't want to make a mess. Here we go. All right. Sometimes it doesn't really want to stick to your photo album page, so be aware of that. Okay, so then we're going to take the... I'm trying to get this... Get off my finger. The paper off of the tape. you just press that down. Oops. Okay, generally speaking, I don't have as much trouble with these. Okay, I'm ruining that because I can't get... Well, generally speaking, it's usually more straight, but I can't straighten it because it won't come up off the tape, which is good because you don't want it to come up off the tape. Generally speaking, especially if you're going to put glitter in here. Alright, well, it's okay. And so these are pretty forgiving. Now, these don't shake as well, you know, but you can get to a point where you can see this. And like I said, I've added stickers to mine in the corners. I may end up adding something bigger in this corner to hide my boo-boo. Because again, they're pretty forgiving. I put a little index card in the back so you can, you know, if you wanted, you could journal some notes about the scripture and, you know, how it affects you or how it speaks to you or whatever. But that's something to do with these. And this was something else I did. I was just, you can see, I often trim these down so it just doesn't look so rough. But these are these. These came from Dollar Tree, and these are, I think they're meant to be something that you put in those like collage frames, but I mean, they're pretty. I kind of wish they were a little bit more matte, but you got some butterfly ones. I found them up at the register. Florals. Let's see, I like that one. And more butterflies. Books, which I thought was interesting. More books. So, and then some of them have sayings on it. Like this one says, "Do it for you." We've got ones that say, "Spread the love." See the good in all things. So you could switch, if you weren't someone who was, you know, religious and you're watching this, you could easily put one of these in there and then have that instead of the prayer card if you wanted. But I like this. I think I'm going to, I don't know if I've attached these. I don't think I've attached these on here. Did I? Oh, I did. But that's okay. They're not so attached I can't take them back off. I think this would make a good cover for another photo album. Because I really like doing this. Oh, I forgot I was going to get my chop it out. Here, I did not move my cart over with my tools in it, thinking, oh, I probably won't need it. But I thought about trying to put, I recently bought gold. Alright, so I brought some glitter over to try and see if we can make a shaker out of this one. I recently got this. This is pretty, like, a little bit finer than I'm thinking I'm wanting to put in here. But it's really pretty. That came from Michael's. I buy a lot of these glitter containers like this from Michael's. I think you've seen them in my room tours. And I have this one, which I think might be better. This is from Joann's. It's a little bit chunkier. I want to be able to shake it up a little more. But I don't want to shake it too hard, then we have glitter everywhere. You guys have a good laugh. Okay. So, let's see. How are we going to do this, you guys? I know there's got to be a way to do this. Getting the glitter in will be easy. Taping it is going to be the other problem. So that it's sealed. I am actually going to put a piece of tape in between here because I think that will help me to do this better so this is not slipping and sliding everywhere. Generally speaking, you don't have to do that, but because I'm going to be messing with glitter and possibly moving this thing around in there, I don't want it flying around. Actually, it turned out pretty well. Okay, that's a little bit off. Nothing a pair of scissors won't fix, right, guys? beginning to think I need a new pair of those smaller scissors. Okay. The idea behind me giving these talks was so that you could watch me do crafts while I talked. But it appears I can't really talk and craft at the same time. Oops. Okay. Alright. Because my thought would be to put tape here to seal it. But the question is, how am I going to get it off once it goes in so that I can tape it? I might have an idea. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I may have an idea. Okay, so I'll have to turn this around so I can see. We're going to have yeah. All right, let's put this piece of tape on here. We don't need that. Okay, so what we are going to do is it's going to go in this way. And I'm going to do it in this way. So what we'll do, don't rip, don't dump. Okay, we don't need that much glitter, right guys? We don't need that much glitter. Y'all didn't just do that. Okay, let me cover that up. Okay, if we get a little bit of glitter. I feel like it's too much glitter. I think it's too much glitter, you guys. Alright. I got it all over me, you guys. Okay, we're going to try this again. It looks like I did rip the side a little bit messing around with this, but now we know. Now we know. Now let me go to do this. Okay, put this all in here. We're just going to do... Okay, that's it. That's all we're going to do. And then what we'll do is I will pull this out. Well, it didn't go all the way in the way I'd hoped, but probably don't want to hear me blowing. I'm probably making the weirdest sounds. Okay. So, let me grab my tape. I didn't intend on putting tape here on the back, but I think we should. Oops. Oh, come on. Because we have here. There. Or we have some glitter back here. Nice thing is the tape doesn't really show up. And even if it did show up, like I have stated before, you can easily cover that up with something else. I'm a little bit bummed that I ripped the side. But this was sort of a practice, because I hadn't ever... Okay, yeah, we did rip it a little bit right there, but that's okay. Again, practice. I mean... Oh, it's crunchy. You guys hear that? Crunchy. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. But it didn't quite turn out how I'd hoped. Can't really see the... I think there's just entirely too much dusty glitter in here. But... it's not bad for a first attempt. We'll keep working on it. Like I said, the sequence is a little bit better because it doesn't have glitter dust in it. But finding some chunkier glitters would probably be better if I'm going to keep doing this. But, yeah. You have glitter on the backside, too. But, yeah. I honestly don't think it's really all that bad. You can still read it. A perfect day in every way. Almost like ASMR with the crunchy on here. So I was thinking I was going to try to put a ring in this. Let's see if I can open this. But I don't have my Chop-A-Dial over here. I will not make a charm today. I'll have to see if this one, it might work, yeah. I may end up taking some of these pages out because there's a lot of pages in here. But then again, I don't even know if I want to do that because I have so many. You can see how many times I've taken pages out. But I showed you some fun things to do with it. I mean, there's all kinds of other things you can do with this too. You can use these to store die cuts. I've seen people store die cuts in here. I've seen people... I used to store my stamps in here. I would put cardstock in it, and then I'd have my stamp over the cardstock because otherwise it's, kind of gets flimsy. And we store my stamps this way. You can store lots of other things. You can store recipes in here and then have them in a box where you pull them out when you want one and you just set it up, in front of you where you're cooking and all that stuff. So there's a lot of fun things to do with this. And I have more ideas. So you will probably be seeing a lot of these photo albums because I'm totally obsessed with them right now. And so you'll probably see a lot of those. So let me know what you think in the comments about the glitter thing, and if you have any ideas of how I could have done this better, let me know and I can do it in the next one because these are fun to make and I enjoy making them. And yeah, so at some point I'll hook a charm to this. If you want to see me make a charm, what that might look like, comment the word charm in the comments, and I'll come up with that. But yeah. Lots of fun things you can do with these photo albums. I'd like to get one. I don't think Dollar Tree sells them anymore, but they used to sell recipe cards, and I'd like to have that and make a little recipe book out of this. Not with glitter, because we don't need that exploding in the kitchen and getting glitter on our food. The glitter we can save for another place or another type of album, not one for cooking. So yeah. And I pick these up every time I'm in Dollar Tree. So, I can't think of anything else to show you. And I didn't really talk that much about the topic I was going to talk about, which was singleness. It's basically, singles in their 40s, I think, we're kind of a left out group of people. And it's sad that is happening in the church, and it needs to be rectified. And I think just singleness in general needs to be observed in the church. Yes, marriage is great. It's a beautiful covenant between man and woman. It's a beautiful gift from the Lord, and it should be celebrated. But singleness is also a beautiful gift from the Lord. Sometimes temporary, and sometimes not. And I think it's another thing that needs to be said in the church. So, and it's something that just has bothered me for a while. And it's hard to be in your singles when in your 40s, be single in your 40s. it's a completely different thing from being single in your 20s and in your 30s. I think each decade, like, people who are in their 30s, their singleness is not the same as those in their 20s. Those in their 40s, their singleness is not the same as when they were in their 30s. When they get to their 50s, it won't be the same as when they're in their 40s. People who are single, and 60 years and above, it's different, and it's hard. It's been a struggle for the last several years. Wanting kingdom marriage and kingdom kids. That's another thing too. Is a lot of us in our 40s want children, and the world tells us that well, your womb is it's on its way out. I actually had a Christian, I believe she was a Christian woman, because it was a comment made in a Christian singles group on Facebook, lecturing me about how irresponsible I would be for having if I was to try to have a baby in my 40-something-year-old body. Then I wasn't really in the right frame of mind to answer back, but if that had been now, I would have asked her, do you not believe in the story of Sarah and Abraham? Because Sarah was like 90 when she had Isaac. So there's hope. There's hope for everyone. But I just wish that the church would pay more attention to their singles in general, but also to the singles in their 40s. Because the fact that we're cut out of things and we feel like we're this lost decade, kind of makes us feel like people think we're a lost cause. And you're not. So if you're a single person, woman or man, and you are in your 40s and you think you're a lost cause, you are not a lost cause. The Lord does not think you're a lost cause. And if you are desiring marriage in your heart, God has it for you. Don't ever think that He does not. I could do a whole lot longer video right now if I wanted to get into the things I've been told over the years as a single that I can't stand being told. Like singleness is a gift, and God might have singleness for you. No, God doesn't have singleness for you unless you desire singleness. God gives you the desires of your heart when you delight in Him. So if you are desiring kingdom marriage and kingdom children, that desire is not there because you want it. That desire is there because God gave it to you, because you delighted in Him. And some people can desire it the wrong way. So if you're desiring a spouse for, bedroom stuff, or you're desiring a spouse so they can someone spend money on you and buy you flowers, and so you don't have to work, and you can that's desiring it for the wrong reasons. That's not desiring marriage. That's desiring being spoiled. Desiring marriage means that you desire the whole thing. You desire the work that comes with it, the effort that goes into it, the sacrifice that it is. That's the real desire of marriage. Not just the fun stuff. You desire everything. You desire to make covenant with someone, and you look forward to saying, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. And when you say it, you mean it, because God's readied you for that. So I hate hearing that. It's just there are a lot of Christian content makers out there, and some of their videos are really good, and some of them have great things to say. Others, not so much. I don't like it when they talk about delays. When they say, 5 reasons why God's delaying your promise. Or, 5 things you're doing that's delaying your promise. Your promise is not delayed. God can't be delayed. You can't delay God. God's God. If human beings can delay God, then that means that God is not infallible. God can't be delayed. God knows everything we're going to do before we do it. He has our whole life was laid out for Him before He even knitted us together in our mother's womb. He knew when we were going to go left instead of right, up instead of down. When we were going to go that way instead of this way. We were going to make that choice instead of the right choice. He knew that. And what He does is He works around that. He uses it. So you can't delay God. Are there things that you should be doing in your singleness besides sitting at home and crying? Yes, absolutely. Don't suffer in your singleness. I know it's hard, and I have moments of suffering, but don't suffer in your singleness. Go out and live your life, do things. Because in that time where you were living your single life and doing things for the Lord and living your life, that's when you will find the one. That's when the one will find you. If you're a woman, he'll find you. That's why it says in the Bible, he who finds a wife. So he will find you, right? Rebecca didn't go looking. She didn't go down to the well every day hoping there'd be the right man there. No, she went down to the well to get water for her family. It just happened one day that God used that work she did to be able to bring her to the one that would be her husband. So I don't like when people say delay, because again, God can't be delayed. You can't delay God. God's not going to go, oh, well, I guess I can't have my plan the way I want it now. I guess I'll have to rearrange because, He already knew. He already had everything set up. Like, she's going to do this, and here's what I'm going to do. You know, to change that, to work around that, to, you know, to my glory. So, can't be delayed, and I hate when people say that. And the thing about that, too, is in my earlier years of my singleness, when I was still very, my heart was still very wounded, and I was still not in a really good place mentally, I'd see videos like that and think, I'm never going to get this right. I'm never going to do what I need to do for God to give me a husband. If I don't do all these things, then God's never going to give it to me. It's just going to delay it forever. And I would literally freak out and panic over this. And so it's not good. I mean, I think there are other ways to get your point across as to what you're trying to say. Because I hear what you're trying to say, those of you who make these videos. But I think we need to find a way to reword that. Because people who are not of strong minds and hearts are seeing that as, you know, them thinking that there's this long laundry list of things they have to do and accomplish before God will give them their spouse. And when they get to a point of feeling hopeless, like they can never do it, you know, like I said, they panic and they start trying to figure out how they can do it themselves. And so what I would say is that rather than worrying about what you're doing and not doing, look into what covenant marriage is. What's expected of you. Are you prepared for that? I'm not saying you have to be perfect. No one walks into marriage perfect. But what are some things you need to do? What are some things in your life that you... the Lord actually asked me at the beginning of 2025. He said, look around. He said, what do you want to bring into your marriage home? And I thought he meant physical things. You know, so I'm looking around my room going, well, that pile of stuffed animals can go. Probably don't really need that. I don't think that I want my husband to ever know I owned one of those. But it wasn't physical. I mean, yes, some of it's physical stuff, but it wasn't physical stuff. He was also talking about things in my heart, habits I was doing that couldn't come with me. Those are things you should look at. I'm not saying those are going to delay you. Don't, you know, hear what I'm not saying, and don't take it to feel bad. But there are just things that can't go with you into marriage. You know, and God is working on the other person too, not just you. But God cannot be delayed. He's infallible. Nothing can stop God. I mean, you can read the Bible for that. I mean, Jesus died on a cross, and that didn't stop. That he came back to life. So clearly, death didn't even stop him. So that's not something to worry about. And I just don't like the idea of people panicking, thinking they're never going to get it because they have this whole list of things they have to do before God's going to release it. And your work in your marriage, your work on yourself as a wife or as a husband is going to continue on into your marriage. It's a lifelong thing. And that's the other thing you need to be prepared for. You know, instead of looking at it as, you know, someone saying, oh, you're doing this and it's causing delay, start thinking about it as preparation. How can I prepare to be a wife? How can I prepare to be in my marriage home? I think it's a better way of putting it rather than naming off 5 things that might cause God to delay it. Because I don't like that. So yeah, so those are that's just a few of the things about singleness. Like I said, I could have a 3-day long video over this, but I'm gonna end it here because y'all want to go, and I finished the craft. So, I'm gonna try to do better at this, at getting my spiel out while I'm still crafting, so that, you know, if you guys don't want to hear me talk, you can mute me and still watch the video, watch me do the craft. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here, and, you know, if you're single and you're struggling in this, you know, God hears you, and there's a person for you. And yes, I'm going to tell you it will be in God's timing. I know I used to hate to hear that too, but God's timing is perfect. And it's going to be really good. And yeah. So, but anyway, that's going to be it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to this point, extra thank you for that. You're awesome. So yeah, if you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If you really, really liked it, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I am just me, crafting for mental health, helping myself and others, one DIY at a time. I'll see you next video. Bye.